All right, here's our nerd alert warning for the video here. We're going to talk about today is calories, your caloric intake, your basal metabolic rate, and a couple of other things that are going to affect you physically with regard to eating, exercise, gaining weight, losing weight, all that kind of fun stuff. So bear with me. This is the answer to the questions that I get all the time where people just sort of tune out and stop listening. But this is the important stuff when it comes to exercise and nutrition. So first things first, what's a calorie? A calorie is a unit of measurement that measures energy. Okay, so what we're doing when we're measuring calories, we're measuring energy output. Now, if you've got one of the little Fitbit watches or one of these body metric devices, if you can also check Facebook, check email, make phone calls, and all these other things, and track your calories, it's probably not very accurate. It's probably giving you a margin of error of anywhere from 10, 15, or even 20%. And that's simply because it's not a dedicated calorie tracker. It's a multitasker that's trying to do everything that it possibly can in that one little watch. Whereas if you have a body metric device that only measures calories, it's probably going to be more accurate because that's its only dedicated job. It doesn't have to worry about doing anything else. All right, so that's my viewpoint on any type of a biometric tracker that you would wear. Okay, so calorie is energy. What kind of energy? It's measuring energy as heat. If we look at a kcal or a kilocalorie, how much energy does it take to increase 1 liter of water 1 degree Celsius? Okay, that's the energy that we're measuring there. How much energy does it take to raise the temperature of 1 liter of water by 1 degrees Celsius? So now that we got that out of the way, we know what a calorie is. Let's look at some other things here. We're going to talk about your BMR. That's your basal metabolic rate. Now, that's different than the BMI. The body mass index is where you go to the doctor and the doctor says, based on your BMI, you're overweight, you're obese, you're fat. Okay. Now, that BMI does not take into account athleticism, muscle mass, or a number of other factors. The basal metabolic rate is how many calories does it take to keep you alive? All right, what is the minimum number of calories that you're going to burn throughout a day if you are laid out flat and essentially comatose? That's your basic life support right there. Now, what I've done is I'm going to set a BMR here of 2,000 calories. Okay, that's under the assumption that for this random individual here, this random citizen, it'll take 2,000 calories just to keep them alive, keep the heart beating, keep the circulation and everything else going. Now, we can look at a 24-hour clock here and we can start to kind of make some determinations to figure out how many calories on average does this person burn during a day. Okay, so if we look at our clock here, let's say our random citizen is going to bed here at 10 o'clock, all right, and they're getting up at 6 o'clock. Okay, so this person is getting 8 hours of sleep. So if we take our BMR of 2,000 calories, we divide that by 24, that person burns about 84 calories per hour at rest, or in this case, while they're asleep. All right, so we can figure this person's burning probably 8 times 8 is 64. About, call it 700 calories between between 10 at night and 6 in the morning. A guesstimate here. Okay, so they get up, they start moving around. As soon as you start moving, you're going to burn a few more calories. So that 84 calories per hour starts to bump up a little bit. You may be burning a calorie or a calorie and a quarter per minute. And as your energy output increases, you're going to burn more calories per hour. Okay, so the more active you are, the greater that caloric output. So as we look at the day, maybe there's a walk, maybe there's a bike ride now, maybe there's something else going on. and let's say that we can increase the caloric output, there's a workout in there, and this person is now putting out maybe their total output for the day, 2,600 calories on a less active day, maybe up to 2,800 calories with medium activity, and on a real busy day, that person could be burning up to 3,000 calories a day. So what we want to do is we want to look at that, the BMR, and then your total output, and then kind of factor in the intake. This is where people get into a lot of trouble because trying to estimate how many calories on your plate is really difficult to do. Unless that food is pre-weighed, pre-measured, pre-everything, you simply don't know, and you can't know just by looking at it, okay? The same way that that body device is going to overestimate how many calories you're burning, you will probably look at the food on your plate and underestimate just how many calories are in there. Because a lot of these foods have hidden calories. There's added fats, added sugars, added something, and then portion size is something that we don't really understand how to accurately guess or gauge. For instance, if you look at, like, let's say a serving of starch, your mashed potatoes or your rice, your pasta, 4 ounces is a serving. 4 ounces is a little ice cream scooper, a little flick ice cream scooper. Okay, when was the last time you used that to portion out your potatoes or your rice? Probably never. And you look at what kind of pasta you put on your plate, and there's certainly more than a 4-ounce serving of pasta on your plate. So guessing how many calories are on there is a really difficult thing to do, so stop. But if we look at our intake, we look at our output, we look at our BMR, we think, well, I just have to take in less than 2,000 calories a day and I'll lose weight. And you will for a little while, okay? You'll lose weight for a little while, but as you drop down, it's kind of like a spending budget. If you're spending more than you are taking in, eventually you're going to run out of money and you've got to readjust your monthly budget, okay? So you can get away with that extra spending for a short period of time, but you can't do that for an extended period of time. What will happen with your intake is your body is going to slow down your basal metabolic rate. Your thyroid will begin to slow your metabolism to take into account the fact that there's not enough food coming in to support this, let alone this. It doesn't matter that you have plenty of this to balance things out, okay? So if we look at, let's say, extreme dieting one way or the other, what I've found is a number of clients in their 40s tend to have thyroid problems because they were living off of too little food back in their teens and their 20s. All right, now, so what we want to do is we want to factor our intake, and we need to keep it above this, but below this in order to lose weight. All right, so if we factor in, or if we look at our intake, and we know we need to take in at least 2,000 calories a day, so we start weighing and measuring, we start portioning things out, we start spreading it out throughout the day, and then we make sure that we're going over 2,000, but less than, say, 2,600 or 2,800, then we can safely keep our BMR running and begin to lose weight. Right? That's how this works. It doesn't work any other way. You don't get mad at me for biology and physiology and all the stuff that is set in stone here. Okay, so we need to look at making sure that our intake stays below our output but above our BMR. Now, how do you figure out what your BMR is? There's a couple of different testing websites on the YouTube channel. On the description, I will put a link to a BMR tester. Okay, you simply input age, gender, body weight, and that's about it, and you will get your BMR. It'll be close enough that it'll give you a really good indicator of what your BMR is without going into complicated testing. All right, it'll be close enough for what we need. So that in a nutshell is how we can look at determining what our intake, our daily needs are for intake, and roughly estimating what our output is going to look like based on our activity level. If you need some more help with this, once we get opened up again, I'll be more than happy to go over this in more detail with you, figure out what your individual needs are, and help you find some solutions to that problem. All right, good luck, and waiting to hear some feedback, so go ahead and leave a comment.